gonna do now?
There's nothing we can't do. As long as we're together.
At long last, we know loads about Life is Strange 2. We know
much.
We know what kind of game it is. We know that it's a story of two brothers who are on the run down to Mexico, south of the border, after something very, very tragic and alarming happens to their family. And I think, Jane, we're finally at the point where I'm starting to warm up to the game. It took a little while.
You're ready?
It took a little while.
Just in time.
It's
out next month.
The Captain Spirit stuff, I was like, but now I'm like, give me that Life is Strange.
I'm in. I'm invested.
I'm in. I'm so invested. And here are the reasons why.
Shut up. And I don't even care if I can't go. Because I have secret stuff to do. Alone.
Of course you do.
So the brothers, I love them.
So this is Sean and
Daniel
we're talking about. Sean's the older brother. He's 16.
Yes.
Daniel's the little bro. He's
nine. Yeah, I think they're both very sweet. Just in the only a few minutes that we've seen of both of them, in that Life is Strange way, they're my favourites.
You've embraced them in your heart.
Yeah. Did you shed a tear at the end of that 20-minute gameplay opening?
I mean, it moved me and it grabbed me. I can't say I cried, but then I haven't cried since 2004.
Yeah, so. No, me either. I really liked it. I think it was a very strong introduction to the characters.
It was. And also that's quite difficult because teenage boys are hard to
They're
love.
disgusting.
No offence, teenage boys.
Teenage boys are difficult, and it is not what we're used to as Life is Strange players, are we?
No,
because
that's true.
The games have focused on female characters. They focus very strongly on a high school teen drama setting, and this is going quite away from that.
I mean, it's still about stories. It's still about characters. It's meant to be relatable. It's meant to be human, and that still distinguishes it from a whole bunch of other games. So I just think there is some of the same appeal.
Yeah.
Obviously, people loved Max and Chloe and Rachel. So it remains to be seen if Sean and Daniel are as lovable.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't count them out.
I already feel like a real sense of responsibility for little baby brother Daniel.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
The whole idea of this game is going to be that your choices throughout all the episodes determine how your little brother turns out.
They said the theme is education.
Yeah.
Which is a curious way of putting it, rather than just I don't know, there are lots of ways you could frame that, but specifically education, which I think means both in a sense of raising him to be a good kid and being a good role model with your moral decisions, but also I read something where it's like, if you teach him how not to eat poison berries, maybe he won't eat poison berries while you're making your way south through the woods.
Which would be great, Daniel.
Which would be great.
You know what?
Please don't eat the poison berries.
Maybe you don't eat any berries. Maybe wait for us
Wait for the drive-through. Yeah.
But at the same time, can you be that much of a control freak with Daniel, or is that not going to prepare him? Do you have to let him make mistakes? I feel like this game is going to make us basically be a parent. I already feel like a weird amount of responsibility for the little brother in the game. I don't want to break him.
It's fragile.
He's fragile.
I mean, fragile, but also extremely powerful.
I mean, that's the other reason.
Potentially the world's most dangerous psychic.
That's
Like Professor Xavier levels of telekinesis.
That's the other reason to keep him on side.
Professor X in Logan. Having caused like an awful cataclysmic telekinetic event.
And we'll be carrying him
That's
around.
the end of Life is Strange 2. Probably not, don't worry.
It could be though.
Could be though. Spoilers. Potential.
Hey,
Spoilers.
it's a series that loves cataclysms.
Uh-oh.
Big forest fires,
Uh-oh.
city-destroying storms. Oh, he's so going to be a cataclysm. And it's
Until that point in the trailer and the gameplay stuff that we saw, I had actually thought, I guess I just assumed that it would be the older brother that had the powers, because you're playing the older brother, seemingly.
Yeah.
Although that's an assumption as well. Maybe you'll play the little brother somewhat, but the way it's been set up, the way it's been explained, you're playing Sean, the elder brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, in that case, the powers must be yours, because you're going to be using them to solve puzzles and get you out of trouble. But it seems as though the powers are Daniel's.
Yes.
The bit in the trailer where he like yells and explodes everything. That's
seems
pretty
like
classic, like
Yeah.
junior X-Man discovering their burgeoning powers, right?
Yeah, and you know, like Max discovered her time travel powers in a moment of extreme pressure and fear
Right.
and emotion.
Yes.
When Chloe was shot.
No!
Yeah.
So it would make sense to me that that's...
It chimes with what we know about the Life is Strange universe.
The other thing I like about the brothers
Yes.
is that they're huge nerds.
They're very sweet.
Yeah, I feel like this might be a little bit of the Life is Strange developers, like more putting their own interests, maybe like more into the characters.
Teenage boys like Minecraft.
Yeah, yeah.
And Lord of the Rings. That's,
yeah.
Although maybe Lord of the Rings is a little bit dated now. They're quite old films.
Yeah.
People still into Lord of the Rings.
Kids, are you still into Lord of the Rings? I sure hope so.
Those films are way old now.
I invested
It's not true.
on his little light up display thing that Sean has on his desk. It says "So It Goes," which is like a Kurt Vonnegut reference, which really struck me as like a teenage sort of like angsty.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
The Catcher in the Rye and
Yeah.
Kurt Vonnegut everywhere. No, he seems like a smart like art nerd kid, which is exactly tuned to, you know, be sympathetic.
To my
as far as
whole
I'm
heart.
concerned. To our hearts. I like it. I like his interactions with his dad.
Oh, by the way, I was wondering how long it'd take. You need money for the party tonight, right? Shh. Just be honest with me.
They're, you know, kind of awkward and but still really warm, and I was like, something's happening to this dad.
It's gonna be all right.
On the ground!
No relationship is that
Jeez.
untroubled at the beginning of a game unless something tragic is about to happen. I'm playing a bit of God of War at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm at that bit where Atreus is becoming a very difficult young teen.
Yeah! We're sick of hearing about little people's little problems!
All right.
So I think that is one way to write teenagers, and especially teenager interaction with their parents, where it's just classic, like, whatever, Dad, you suck, Dad.
Son, I'm the ghost of Sparta. You know what?
Sit down,
we're not
son.
going to talk about this now.
So
man.
I enjoy that they're kind of like sweet, well-meaning kids.
Need to find a couch for your yard one day. Skype me later when you're ready. Hugs. Talk to you soon.
Hello, Friday night.
The other thing is, I know when Captain Spirit came out, and it, like, we were talking about, are they going to do this big Heroes multiverse thing where it looks like there are an awful lot of like different people with powers, and is it going to be a much bigger story? And it felt like really much more ambitious. To me, this now feels more like a Life is Strange game, like a smaller story,
Yeah.
more relatable.
Life is Strange is like small, personal,
Yeah.
realistic stories, but for this supernatural element.
Yes.
That isn't even massively in the foreground. I mean, we didn't even mention the psychic powers until like a few minutes in. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how backgrounded they are, seemingly, so
Yeah.
far.
And there's a bunch of other stuff that we've seen that they've now put into Life is Strange 2 that gives me that same nostalgia and that same weird sense of familiarity and trust, like spirit animals. You know how there was like the butterfly everywhere?
I like an emblematic, like Patronus type
Yeah.
creature, and
Ties to
there's
nature.
our wolves.
Yes.
They're heading down south to the Puerto
Puertos
Lobos.
Lobos,
Maybe one day when I retire, I'll go back to Mexico, to Puerto Lobos.
which
Like
is
Wolfland.
yeah.
Wolfland.
The direct translation is
Wolfland.
Wolfland.
It's a rad theme park down Mexico way. No, that's their sort of familial
Yep.
ancestral home.
Yep.
And yeah, he's got wolf on his hoodie and
A lot of
calling it
wolf
now.
iconography.
Wolf times. Oh, and
Yeah.
then they're like howling like wolves in the trailer.
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be like a bonding moment where they're like, "Hey, bro, why don't we howl like wolves?" Oh. Yeah. Life is Strange themes
Mm-hmm.
of missing mothers.
Yeah.
In fact, she was dead in Captain Spirit, right? We don't really know what's happened to her in Life is Strange 2.
Yeah.
Dead fathers is seemingly another
Yeah.
inadvertent.
And in Before the
Theme,
Storm, obviously
Chloe's
Rachel
dad.
was trying to find her biological.
Yeah, perhaps if you are a teen such as we see in Life is Strange, the main vector for tragedy is something happening to your immediate family, and your immediate family at that age is, you know, your siblings and your parents.
Yeah, people who share a house.
Yeah, maybe it's not an intentional theme as much as this is how we conjure tragedy for teenagers. It's things happening to their parents.
Yeah.
Themes brotherhood.
Yes.
And obviously, like you say, coming of age story. There were a few, I feel like, deliberate kind of sex references in the gameplay demo.
Right.
About like him getting laid and him like having safe sex and stuff like that.
So what should I wear tonight?
A condom.
Oh, haha. Paying plenty of attention in sex ed class, I see.
Well-
And it's got an older age rating, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Oh no.
Sean, what's happening?
It's PEGI 18,
Yes.
whereas I think that's just is that just the European ratings? I think so.
PEGI is a European
Yeah.
board. Yeah.
So that's a European classification, but I'm sure it will be the same around the world. The age rating, or at least it indicates that
The content is somewhat different.
the content's
It
going to
could
be more
violence,
mature, more intense.
It could be language, could be sex.
Could be sex. So Life is Strange was 16 and this is 18. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. I mean, I was a little bit taken aback by how violent those first 20 minutes were.
It's really shocking.
Yeah, obviously there is violence in the first Life is Strange, a fair amount of it, and there's definitely a lot of like strong stuff. Maybe the original Life is Strange should have been an 18.
Thinking about quite traumatic.
Thinking about how it all winds up in the basement.
I find it interesting having brotherhood as a theme in an age where we're seeing a lot of father-son stories, a lot of like, father-daughter or kind of stand-in daughter stories.
Yeah.
So the idea of looking after a young person feels like it's having a moment. Maybe it's a reflection of game developers,
Yep.
becoming
Having
or being
kids.
parents themselves.
Yep.
But at the same time, Life is Strange feels like a game that's concerned with like youthful stories about
Yeah.
young people. So they're like, what's the closest we can get to a fatherhood story?
Yeah.
Like brothers.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I feel like Sean is basically having to be a stand-in parent
Sure.
for his younger brother.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how you get at that. I'm sure there's some universal stuff in there about being
Yeah.
being a sibling.
About caregiving. What I want to see in the game as it comes out, as the episodes roll out, Sean says to Lila, his friend, that, he's not always cute. You think he's so cute and you think I'm being such a jerk by being mean or rude to my brother.
He's not always cute. You would sound like me too if you lived with him.
Yeah.
But he's not always cute. And I want to see that side of the little brother because he can't just be like an adorable little imp all the time.
Yeah.
9-year-olds can be real jerk faces sometimes.
Yeah, kids can be real cruel.
Right, and I want to see that because I want to see Sean like tested because
Yes,
his
okay.
patience tested and therefore your patience tested as the person who's supposed to be looking after him and educating him.
Yes, because he's only 16, of course.
Yes.
Like he is not really in an emotionally mature place to be a stand-in parent yet.
He doesn't know how to ask Jen out for starters.
Yeah, so he's going to be having a tough time of it doing that role. It's interesting that you mentioned God of War because
Right.
there were times playing God of War, no God of War spoilers here, but when Atreus was so testing and so annoying that had the game offered me like a choice of like, do you,
Spartan kick him off
Yeah.
the top of Mount Olympus.
well, I'd like to think I wouldn't go that far, but like if the game had given you an option that was like just yell at him or something, or
Yeah.
just tell him off or something,
Yeah.
then I don't know if I'd have been able
But
to
that's the kind of
resist.
option I feel like you may
Definitely,
have
definitely.
in Life is Strange too,
So,
which
yeah.
will be really interesting.
Man, this game is going to be a trial. I don't want to break
gonna
my
be
little
great.
brother. So, for example, in the little bit of gameplay they've put out, you
Right.
get to see Sean making some difficult decisions, and they are already looking really, really tough.
Like which?
So, for example, when the neighbour kid is picking on little brother,
Oh right,
yeah,
right.
and you have the option to confront the neighbour kid or to confront Daniel, basically.
Yeah, like
Daniel
question
Hunter.
him,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I was watching this play out, obviously without my own hands on the controller, I was like, get that kid away from your little brother. No one's allowed to pick on your bro. But actually, with a cooler head and a bit of distance, I think maybe Sean made the right call there, basically saying to his little brother, like,
What really happened here?
yeah, like you should not annoy and blunder into the gardens of the scary neighbor kid, right? Like,
Yeah.
he had no right to yell at you and be mean to you because you're just a kid, but at the same time, this situation could have played out differently. Is this a teachable moment? It's hard to escape the feeling that had I had my hand on the controls, I'd have just been like, leave my brother alone! You know?
That's tricky, yeah. Like, you want a united front against a bully, but at the same time, if that bully had a different nature, it might have been a way to de-escalate the situation by saying, look, you don't shout at my brother, you don't touch my brother, but let's find out what really happened here.
Yeah.
I mean, on reflection, neither way was going to help. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not like one option, you go back inside and have a nice Halloween.
and that's the
other
end of Life is Strange too.
Yeah, and the other option, your brother explodes a policeman.
But no, what was objectively the correct course of action? That was tricky.
yeah.
It's gonna be all right. On the ground.
Let's talk a little bit about those powers.
Okay.
Because obviously the time rewinding, I
Yes.
felt was a very, very interesting mechanic. And it was kind of gentle in a way, you know? It was
the ultimate safety net. Like, you can't
Yeah.
make a wrong decision
Yeah.
when you've got a time rewind.
It was
Yeah.
non-destructive, whereas the power in this game is certainly going to be more risky, certainly, because you're blowing
It's a little time
stuff
bomb.
up. Yeah.
Also, we don't even know how much direct control you're going to have over it. It might just be that at moments of crisis, your little brother is just going to just wreck everything.
Yeah.
Which means it's not helpful or a puzzle-solving mechanic. It's just another element of risk and hazard.
We don't know how those powers are going to manifest mechanically, as in how you'll trigger them in the game. As you say, it might not be that you have any control at all. It might just be that at certain story moments, a cutscene starts and your brother bursts a policeman. But
And there's no hint of how it would work from Captain Spirit, because as we've seen now, Captain Spirit was actually related to Life is Strange 2 much less than
And Chris
we
didn't have any
had
powers.
thought.
Yeah.
What you would expect from Captain Spirit is for it to be somewhat a demo containing some of the same elements of Life is Strange 2. But if that's the case, there's nothing like systems-wise or mechanical that tell us how powers are going to work.
I think there might be though. Do you remember in Captain Spirit how when you looked at an object and you had the option to either interact with it normally or interact with it in a powered way, and it was on a different
you
button?
get rumble on the old joypad.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah. I wonder if maybe when you're walking around with a little baby brother Daniel, and there's something that could be interacted with using his powers, that's how it will present
So you think you're
itself.
going to be controlling both of them then?
Well, I think,
Or
I don't think you'll
Sean,
be...
you'll like use Daniel on tree.
I don't think you'll be controlling it. I think it'll just be like, say you want to get a delicious apple down from a tree or something. Like, there'll just be a different button, and when you press that, you'll be like, hey, Danny boy, get me my apples.
Maybe.
I think the game is mostly going to be getting apples down.
I think that'd be a weird kind of agency that like there are powers and you can use them, but they're actually manifested through your brother and you have direct control of him doing stuff. I mean, maybe there'll be an element of he won't always do what you want him to do. That kind
that's
of
true.
Unreliability. That would be interesting.
Here, let Lila the Love Witch work her magic.
Okay, just don't make me sound like a loser.
I said matchmaker, not miracle worker.
Hey, hold on. Let me check it before you send.
Too late.
So already based on what we've seen, I'm so thirsty for the drama, you know?
It's you all over, Lee.
I am such a vampire.
Addicted to the drama.
I'm addicted to the drama. You know, like, they've sown the seeds of some really interesting...
And when you say drama, you don't mean the drama of a cop getting exploded, you mean the...
No, I mean the good drama.
the good kind of drama.
Like, what's Jen wearing to the party kind of drama.
I'm with you.
Should I comment on her Facebook page kind of drama?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Whoa, indeed. I told you she was super into you, man.
What's her profile picture got to do with me?
Huh. You will see.
Or, I don't know. He
Not
decides
if she's just posted it, man.
Give it 10 minutes.
Give it 10 minutes.
Take a walk around. Take the dog for a walk.
Yeah, schedule that stuff.
Pop a little like on it. Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Instead of being a high school drama, you know, a high school drama of the kind we're all familiar with, it's a road trip drama, another format, another like well-known, well-worn kind of format.
Yep.
But also the nature of a road trip is that you're on the move, and especially being an episodic road trip, you're going to be seeing different characters and you're going to be kind of shedding those characters, leaving them behind as you go.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the same potential for oh, it's Victoria again. What's she gonna say to me this time? You know, getting to learn to love or hate characters.
That said,
you mentioned like Lila, who I thought was brilliant. I really liked her. She was cool. But I don't see how she's going to interact with these fleeing runaway brothers, except maybe he calls her from a phone box and is like, hey, we're on the run. Don't tell the feds.
I feel like Lila has more to do.
Flashbacks then, maybe. I mean, she's not going to get on the road and chase them down.
Why not? Why not? Why can't she come along for the ride?
Because they're supposed. Firstly, it must be really difficult for a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old to stay like concealed, stay hidden, not be caught by the police. Which there is a dead policeman. Like every cop in Seattle, Washington is going to be on their tail.
Sure.
It's already very difficult for them to evade capture and arrest or,
That's why
or
they
what
need
have you.
Lila's help. No, I take your point, but I just have this strong feeling that she is going to be a consistent character and not just like on the phone.
I think maybe flashbacks is a more likely scenario because there's so much we don't know about the family situation. We don't know what happened to their mom. We don't know, what the background was on their relationship with their dad. I mean, it seemed pretty nice. And therefore, maybe there's a bunch of like backstory that's going to play out through those episodes as they travel south towards Mexico.
So what you're telling me, Jane, is that there's not going to be any of the...
It's drama told in flashback.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same. I mean, maybe they're going to be riding the rails. We know that.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
true. It could be that in every town they meet like a little gang of kids and quickly form romances and rivalries and.
That's true, but you're going to get it done in one episode.
Yeah. And then we move on.
I think the game makers have said as much that the characters you'll be meeting are outcasts in the same way that they're suddenly outcasts, people on the fringes of society, the kind of people you might meet as a runaway, as someone on the run from the law, as someone riding the rails, that kind of character, which doesn't to me say a whole bunch of teenage high school girls who are like bitching about you.
But can't it be?
Is there any way?
There must be some way. I reckon there's going to be a kindly FBI agent who's genuinely on their side.
Oh yeah, there's got to be someone on their side.
And a local sheriff who they...
But local sheriff doesn't have jurisdiction once they're outside of Washington.
Yeah, but
he
that's
goes rogue.
That's the thing about
chases them to Mexico.
The local sheriff always goes rogue in these situations, and they're always like, big city FBI guys. You've seen X-Files, Jane. It's going to be X-Files people.
I would love that.
I would love that.
I would dearly love that.
Yeah, there's going to be I hope there's a Mulder and Scully. If I can't have a high school drama, you have to give me a Mulder and Scully.
Give him a Mulder and Scully
to play with. One thing I'm really happy about is I feel like Captain Spirit finally makes sense at last.
Ah, yeah.
I really do think that a lot of stuff has fallen into place. So Sean and Daniel appear in the end of Captain Spirit. We see them.
Right. Who knew?
You had this incredible brainwave because we just assumed they were neighbours.
Yeah. Initially, you're like, they're in the neighbour's garden. They're probably neighbours.
Yeah.
Chris doesn't actually refer to those brothers living next door.
No.
At any point, like explicitly in Captain Spirit.
Not that I can
recall. And so it's an assumption we made at the end of the game, but we have no evidence to prove that he's ever seen or met them before. In my mind, it was like a father and son. But you look back and you're like, no, it's Sean and Daniel. It's a teen and a younger brother. Mm-hmm. I definitely assumed they lived there, but actually looking back, we don't have any like hard reason to believe they lived there. Captain Spirit takes place in Oregon.
Yep.
In a town called Beaver Creek. Sean and Daniel come from Seattle, Washington. Yep. So if you look on the map, it makes sense that they're traveling south and they pass through Oregon.
And it makes sense timeline-wise as well, because Captain Spirit takes place at Christmas.
Yes.
And we know that everything that's happening at the beginning of Life is Strange 2 is Halloween.
Yep.
So
I think... It's all 2016, by the way. It's like 3 years after
all 2016. So I think it all roughly makes sense that that's where they would be geographically.
So like they're crashing at that house, or they have friends or acquaintances or family, distant family there?
Yeah.
They're wearing new coats. They're wearing like winter coats.
They're wearing nice clothes.
So we know that Daniel's like scrounged up some nice winter clothes for them, or they're temporarily staying with someone they know, hiding out there.
Do you think Option 1,
Right.
halfway through Life is Strange 2, Chris from Captain Spirit is going to become like a third member of the gang and they're going to rescue him from the bad situation he's in with
Right.
his dad. Or 2, the whole drama with Chris's dad in Captain Spirit was just an interesting diversion for the sort of teaser game, and they're going to pass through, be like, oh, that kid's fallen.
Good luck, Chris.
Saved him. I'm sure he's
Hope it
fine.
works out with your dad.
Yep.
I think it'll be more like the latter. I don't think it'll be the very last we see of Chris. Maybe there'll be some little callback, but I don't think he's going to be a major character.
Okay.
Also, we didn't say explicitly, but yeah, when Chris doesn't completely faceplant at the end of Captain Spirit,
Yeah.
that's because
It's now pretty clear that it's
now
because
pretty
the
clear
brother,
that Daniel, maybe?
the Daniel is using powers.
But that suggests that Daniel, by that point, can control them. He's not like in a state of,
Yeah.
like an emotional state. He's not in a state of jeopardy. He's
And,
using his
yeah.
powers in a practical, constructive way to save this other kid, which is, a good guy thing.
And he can do it with that creepy mannequin face. Boy is falling.
Just placidly saving that kid. Yeah?
You're welcome. Maybe actually, in the fullness of time, when we look back on Captain Spirit, the purpose of that game will be to give us a little taste of how Sean and Daniel are going to be a little way into their adventure. Sound fair?
Yep. Okay.
Also, a couple of other things that have fallen into place. I'm pretty sure now that the teenagers seen freight hopping, that's got to be them. It's got to be the brothers, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all falling into place.
All the puzzle pieces all slotting together.
Food down, drinks to go. That'll do. Bet there's gonna be a keg at the cabin.
So, as well as all the story stuff, the
Yeah.
other thing that is getting
All the
me...
important story stuff.
There's all the important story stuff. There's some stuff that's getting me excited that's like under the hood tweaks.
How's it gonna play?
To how it's going to play. One thing is it looks like you'll be able to do that thing you did in Captain Spirit where you can gather inventory items in any order you want.
Yeah, or carry out tasks in an order. Like in,
Yeah.
in Captain Spirit, he has a little sketch of like stuff that he's got to do or get. And in Life is Strange 2, there's a bit where you're getting ready for your party.
Yeah,
It's
you're
a
gathering
much
all-
lighter version, like
Yeah.
beers, 1 packet of crisps. I'm like, come on, Sean.
Yeah, come on, Sean.
It's like a single packet.
Have you eaten crisps before?
of potato chips. Like,
Wouldn't be enough for
imagine turning
me.
up to a party with like a bag of Walker's crisps, like 25 grams.
Here you go, kids.
What up, Sean in the house? And then he
There's
bowls
enough for
in,
everyone
yeah.
to have a crisp.
Anyway, yeah, it's like a to-do list. So it's an element of non-linearity in that you're going to have a bunch of stuff to do, and maybe you'll do it all, maybe you won't, but you can do it in whatever order you like. Whereas
Yep.
it felt Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm much more linear. Like you do this to then do this to then do this.
Another thing that I read about in the report by friend of the show, Eurogamer's Aoife Wilson, was about how they've made some changes to how the dialogue works. So in Life is Strange and in Life is Strange Before the Storm, when you enter dialogue, you get locked into a cutscene and you can't really escape it until you finish the conversation. Whereas apparently in Life is Strange 2, you'll be able to walk around a bit more. A bit like in Half-Life, you know how like someone's talking at you while you're like,
Yeah,
whatever, I gotta pick everything up and put it down. But apparently you'll be able to like look at things and read stuff while continuing a conversation.
Okay,
Which I
yeah, like
think
we
is-
saw in the Skype conversation in
Yes. Yeah,
demo,
yeah.
where you're having a Skype conversation with Lila, but you're also like, I'm just doing a little sketch here. She's like, can I see it? And you're like, no.
No, it's private.
Then he turns on his lava lamp and...
Yeah, stuff like that. I think that's really interesting because I feel compelled to see and read everything in the Life is Strange games, but that does make them really time-consuming to play.
Yeah, quite often that content that you are accessing, like turn on lava lamp, do this sketch, it is like quite gentle, so it doesn't require like the full intensity of your concentration, so it's
Yeah.
quite natural and quite realistic to be having a chat but also doing a little of this and a little of that. What I'm waiting for is the social sim where the NPC character registers it as rude. I've been thinking recently about how much I use my phone when I'm talking to someone or like sitting at a table with someone.
Right.
And they should have like a rudeness meter that fills
Oh,
as
okay.
you like, yeah, Lila, that's good. And you're just like playing something on
Yeah,
your
you're just
iPhone.
drawing.
And she's like,
It's just like-
excuse me, Sean, is this conversation not interesting enough for you to have your full attention?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I want it in Life is Strange 2, but I'm waiting for that to be
You're waiting for it to be
the
an
full
A game.
authenticity
Yeah.
of a social simulation.
Only then will we learn that it's actually rude in real life.
And you're like, oh,
yeah.
people don't like it when you do that.
Oh.
Well, why didn't anyone say so?
Thanks, games.
Jane, I never stopped saying so. You were looking at your phone.
You weren't listening.
I wonder that there will be conversations maybe where it demands your full attention, as in like the crisis conversations.
Yeah.
You know, Daniel's like, what happened to our father, Sean? And you're like,
Flicking a lava lamp on it.
Just like,
Ooh.
I drew you, Daniel, you're crying.
Yeah.
This is what you look like. So yeah, maybe a little bit of both, but yeah, I'm on board with that. Sounds more kind of fluid and natural. And,
Yeah.
On board.
Definitely structurally there's going to be some changes. It's still going to be episodic, right?
Yeah.
But now it's not all going to be in one place. I wonder how it will feel different being in, that change to like a road trip structure.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that struck me when they said it was going to be like a journey, like a road trip, was that sounds expensive. So
Yeah. Well, that's something we were talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In a previous video, we were saying, oh, maybe it'll be about them riding the rails, and we were saying, how are they going to make that an affordable game to build?
well, I think obviously Life is Strange 2 has been a much more ambitious, much more expensive game. It already looks much better. Obviously, it is a few years older, but I think they have invested. It looks gorgeous. Like the
Yeah, it
facial
does.
animations are beautiful. The town. So they've modelled that town, and I guess if like I say, there are going to be a bunch of flashbacks, then that makes it like a sound investment. But if they immediately leave the town, never come back, and you never see it again, it's
Yeah.
like, that's an entire environment that they've modelled for no further use.
Yeah.
I'm going to say now, I'm going to put mind money. Which is to say, no money at all on
What
the
can
fact
I buy with mind money? This sounds a super useful currency.
mind goods and services.
Cool.
I'm gonna put mental money on there being a whole bunch of flashbacks because
Okay.
the way they modelled that kitchen, that town, you're definitely going to see more of Lila. They wouldn't have done all of that and then you just leave it all behind, and episode by episode it's a brand new location, like painstakingly beautifully modelled, new characters, and then you're off again and you never see that again. Because in Life is Strange 1, they got so much
Mileage.
mileage. They got so much bang for their buck from making that high school because you're
Yeah.
back in those dorms every single
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
So definitely flashbacks, I'm going to say.
Cool.
Flashbacks, or maybe you play as Lila sometimes and you're trying to figure out where the boys have gone and
That
you're
would be rad.
investigating the crime scene.
You're the Mulder and Scully.
Yeah, you're playing the FBI agent chasing these boys across town. Just as a sidebar, did you play Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons?
No, I played A Way Out, but I didn't play Brothers, no.
So that is very much like a journey, like a journey with two bros, a younger bro and a big bro.
Well, in terms of influences,
Yeah.
we know a little bit about what they...
I said of Mice and Men,
Yeah.
which is, I guess it's that like Lenny and, what's the name of the...
I can only think Carl. but that's
Not Lenny
definitely-
and Carl. Lenny and George. George? I guess George and Lenny, they travel and they go from place to place and they work.
Yep.
Maybe there'll be a little working. Maybe they'll... Because they got
Yeah.
$40. The dad gives them $40.
That's not going to buy all those fancy new winter coats.
Right, so
Yeah.
maybe you're going to have to do a little light labour.
Little light
heavy
child labour,
a little
yeah.
child labour.
So yeah, a lot of like under the hood mechanical changes. Oh, I was also reading how apparently they've made some huge changes to the AI of your little brother. You know how Chloe, when you were playing as Max in Life is Strange, was just kind of like stood there nearby?
Yeah, or she would have some scripted thing where like she's over there playing at being a pirate.
Yeah, but it was fairly basic. So apparently in Life is Strange 2,
Yeah.
Daniel's going to be like running around looking at stuff, messing
cute.
things up. Hopefully you're going to have to like run and jump and be like, no, don't eat. He's like, berries, good.
No, Daniel. He's just got his head inside a bear's mouth.
Yeah.
Sean. No, Daniel. And then he blows up the bear.
Yeah. Oh, I'm covered
what a
in bear.
mess. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the scenery because it's not a part of America I know well or I've been to. It's going to be like a really scenic travel log
Yeah.
of that
Well,
part of the US.
For me, actually, the moment the game really grabbed me was the point where the neighbor kid who you're having a fight with falls onto that little
yeah.
rock.
What's going on? Daniel, get over here.
Sean,
That was the bit that probably affected me hardest in the
Yeah.
entire sequence.
Oh, it's very, very hard to watch. It's hard to even like think about because it's such an unpleasant thought.
I thought he was going to land on his head, which is sort of like the predictable, oh no, maybe he's dead, or oh no, that's really bad. But when he landed on this rock on his spine, I was like, oh, maybe you've just paralysed him for life, which
Yeah.
is it makes my
Yeah,
it makes
I
my
know,
skin crawl
I
that
know.
you can mess up, make such a colossal mistake, like have such a life-ruining accident, just so frivolously as a child.
I know, and I was watching that little fight play out, and I was like, okay, now they're punching each other, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
know how this goes.
suddenly it just spins wildly out of control, and I think that's what Life is Strange has always done really well. It's a game about giving you choice,
Yeah.
but also really highlights how sometimes you don't have a choice in life, and there's a lot of stuff that's outside of your control.
Because life is strange.
Because life,
Too.
man, is strange.
Name me some things that are strange, Luke.
Spider's eyes, weather phenomenons.
That thing where you walk down the stairs and you think there's another stair and there's no extra stair, and then you go, ugh.
Yeah,
And then but you know what else is strange? Life is strange too. Yeah.
Life is strange. Life is strange too.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
now
I completely walked all over your
That's fine.
valid point to make
No.
an extremely
That's
lengthy and
fine.
not worth it joke.
my valid point was only that life is strange.
That moment, I think that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me was what hooked me into that drama.
It made
Not
me-
the
yeah.
interpersonal romantic drama, but the
The
serious,
bigger story drama.
big bad drama.
It made me remember that Life is Strange can just like pull the rug out from under you, even though sometimes it feels like a predictable sort of teen like drama, and then just bam, shock, something shocking. They are good at that. So
Don't get in fights also.
Don't get in fights.
Don't get in fights.
Don't
Imagine
ever get
if you
in
got in a
fights.
fight, even if you were doing really well in that fight, and you're like, yeah, fights.
Yeah. The
What
best,
if you
yeah.
knocked someone on their back and they landed on a sharp rock and then they're paralysed for life, even if your brother doesn't explode a cop after that? That's
Yep.
bad times.
There's a lot of ways it can go wrong. You can just punch
Yeah.
someone in the head
Yeah.
and they just die.
Oh
Don't
gosh,
get it.
I didn't even think of that.
Getting hit in the head is a really bad thing for a human.
Man.
Don't get in fights.
Man, wow, this has been your Sonic Says.
This has been-
your
yeah.
public service announcement.
Outside Extra
Outside
says,
Extra says,
don't get in a fight.
Don't get in a fight, you might accidentally kill someone.
Cool.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
So I think all told, I am now at maximum hype. I'm fully spun up for Life is Strange 2. I was on the fence, I had reservations.
You didn't even like, is it fair to say you didn't like Chris that much, or you just weren't fully invested
It's fair to say.
You had sympathy for him, you had empathy for him as a kid in a
yeah.
bad situation, but you
Life is Strange could make me empathise with like a shoe.
uh-huh.
If the shoe's story was painful.
The shoe
enough.
had, a missing mother and dead dad or something. I liked Chris, but I like Sean and Daniel.
I like the brothers more. I would have made the best of it if it turned out that like Captain Spirit, the awesome adventures thereof was.
Also, 2 or 3 episodes in, you'd have been like, I love Chris, I will die for Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
Don't you say anything about my Chris.
But
Yeah.
it just feels to me like Life is Strange. The whimsy is there, the heartbreak is there, the writing is there, the drama is there. Everything's falling into place.
Slightly ethereal, better than real, but still somehow realistic characters.
Yep, and I just can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be good.
September, right?
September, we're going to be covering it a lot more on this channel. September 27th. Well, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for listening to our ramblings about Life is Strange. If you enjoyed this, then there's more Life is Strange ramblings. You can watch us really, really wail on Max.
Oh, you watched the one about whether Rachel is big bad trouble.
Whether Rachel is
you
bad
should
or not.
Stay clear of,
Yeah.
or she's the love of your life.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
both.
That's on screen now. Subscribe if you enjoyed this, and why not click that little bell even if you are subscribed?
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Do it now.
Do it now. Have powers.
What's the
like in
worst
Life
thing
is
that could
Strange.
happen?
Yeah, a cop could burst.
What, from ringing the bell?
Probably not. You're probably safe.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Do it.